How's it going? Adam Drake here, and today I'm going to share some information on glow plugs for off-road racing. So the question comes up all the time, what glow plug should I use? Should I change glow plugs if the weather conditions change? What glow plug's best in hot weather, cold weather, humid? And I really keep it super simple. So what I have here in front of me is the 4 glow plugs that OS offers for their off-road engines. They offer full range of plugs for off-road, on-road, basically all applications. But for off-road, these would be the only 4 glow plugs you would ever really need. So the most popular, and what I use all the time, is the OS P3. And then there is a standard version of the P3. So these are the P3 Golds. This is what comes in the OS Speed B21, 83, and RD2 engine. Both of these plugs are essentially the same glow plug, other than the gold plating, which is why it's called the P3 Gold. So same construction, same wire size, everything's the same, just the plating. So we'll get into a bit more of the difference, or why I feel there's a slight performance advantage with the gold. But next, I will talk about 2 other options, and it is the P4 Gold and the P4 Standard. So again, just like between P3 Gold and Standard, both of the P4 plugs are the same as one another, other than the gold plating. So why do I choose the gold over the standard? It's not a big difference. You'll have some guys that swear by the standard plug, some that swear by the gold plug. For me, if I don't have access to gold plugs, I'm totally fine with running a standard plug. But what I've noticed with the gold plug, I feel like it's just slightly like crisper feel, or a little bit cleaner, like more response. But it's, again, a very small difference. If golds are out of stock or I don't have them, it's no problem. I'll run a standard P3. So the difference that we'll talk about next would be between P3 and P4. So P3 is going to be a hotter glow plug. Hotter glow plug is going to have, again, a more responsive feeling. It's going to burn the excess fuel a little bit faster. So if you're running a little bit rich setting on bottom, P3 will clean out, have more bottom end, more responsive. I feel it's a little bit safer when refueling, because again, it can burn any excess fuel. So with that being said, why would you even want the option of a P4? So in some conditions, if the track is very low grip or you're struggling for traction, you could run a P4 plug, a little bit slower burn, smoother response time, and a little bit less acceleration. So for me, I always run P3. So either P3 Gold or P3 Standard. Doesn't matter if it's hot, cold, humid, dry, all conditions, I choose a P3. So this is an option, but I think a lot of times people will confuse themselves or almost try to get too technical, and because the weather conditions change, think they need to change plugs. You could choose either P3 or P4 and pretty much run them in all conditions. Again, some guys will swear by a P4 and that's what they run all the time. I just feel that P3 has a bit more power, cleans out a little bit more, and almost gives you a slightly broader tuning window. Sometimes with a P3, if you're tuning the engine right to the limit, it may hang up just a little bit, ping, before dropping down the idle, just because the plug is hotter. But to me, as long as I don't feel that on the track, or it doesn't have the feeling of like running on, I'm not worried about it. But I think, again, sometimes guys will try to get too technical and try to change plugs for the different conditions, not realizing that basically changing the plug, you can almost kind of accomplish the same thing by changing your tune of the carburetor. So if the weather conditions change, we're constantly changing our carburetor. For the most part, everything stays very consistent, but if there's a drastic change in weather, you're going to have to make some tuning changes. So I will just tune the carburetor and not the glow plug. Now, in some more extreme cases where, again, maybe you want smoother power delivery, you're trying to get more traction, I'll change Venturi, I'll change clutch setting, but again, I don't change glow plug. So if you have a really good handle on it and you know what you like between the two plugs and you change in the different conditions, that's fine also. But again, for me, P3 all the time, P4 good option, but I don't necessarily feel that it's needed. We do offer all four of these, as well as a number of the on-road plugs through the drakeracing.com, just so you guys have all the options needed. But P3 is what I go with. Obviously, with running my OS Speed 83 engine, P3 glow plug, I use Flashpoint 30% NitroBlend fuel. It's a full synthetic blend fuel, so it burns really, really clean, has a lot of power, is very crisp. The durability between gold and standard is going to be the same. Again, same element. I have noticed a little bit, like some of the times when I've raced in Europe and I've had to run other fuel that has more castor oil in it. I feel like that castor oil, a lot of times it'll build up on the piston and then also on the combustion chamber and glow plug. With the gold, it doesn't seem to kind of build up quite as much. But again, not a huge difference tuning wise. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just again, wanting to share my kind of knowledge of glow plugs and basically just kind of let people know, like, keep it simple. If something's working, no need to have all these different options. I don't want to go to races and have to have all the different glow plugs. Again, I've done a bunch of different testing when I first started running OS and felt that the P3 worked in all those conditions. So I've just kind of more or less eliminated P4 from needing to carry them in my box or bring them to races. I also do think it's very important to run the glow plug from the manufacturer of engine that you're using. So back in the day when I ran Nova engines, I always ran Nova plugs. I would see some people run OS plugs and Novas, and you got to understand that the manufacturer knows the most about the engine and is making plugs that are right for that engine, the combustion chamber, to run and perform the best it can be. So with any of the OS based engines, there's so many plugs out there, but it's best to just stick with an OS plug for an OS engine, and you should have good results, easy tuning, and hopefully a lot of reliability and success at the races.